if you guys are joining in, if you want to go ahead and join in on the lesson today, we are going to, this is going to be very interactive. You can turn off your camera. You can turn on your camera if you want to. I know it's Saturday. You may hear my kids in the background screaming. So I know you guys may be at home. You may have kids running around or whatnot, but feel free if you want to turn on your camera, you can. You also have the ability to hop off mute. We want this to be interactive, and I want you to get the most out of this session as possible. So please join in Curie.live and put in the pin. And I will also copy and paste the join link here. This is going to give you an idea of how your students, if you use Curipod, would how it feels, how it looks like for them. So I really encourage you to participate. I'll also generate a report at the end of this so you can see reports. So if you want to see that, I highly recommend joining the lesson, as well as we're going to be testing feedback so you can see what the feedback feels like and looks like. So definitely join in. And then we'll also have the opportunity, you'll be able to create your own Curipod lesson that you can utilize in the next couple of weeks when you start school. So highly recommend joining in. I put the link in the chat, or you can go to Curie.live in a separate tab and use this pin code to join in. Right now we have 2 people joined in, but a lot more people in here. So I'm gonna give you guys a minute to join in. I also know we still have a few minutes before we get started, but really, again, highly encourage joining in. You'll get the most out of the session. And for me, when I was teaching, if I'm going to a Saturday session, I better get something out of it. So please get if you'd like to come off mute, say anything, ask questions beforehand. Let me know. You can share who you are, what you teach. But then you'll notice in Curipod, we'll be asking for engagement, and you can kind of see how that works as well. We'll give a couple minutes. Oh, Claudia, no worries. Claudia is also on this call from Curipod. She is actually new to our team. Claudia, if you want to come off mute, we have a couple minutes, but might as well, if you want to hop off mute and give your introduction as people are joining.
Hi, good morning, everyone. I have no idea why my camera is not working. I'm trying to troubleshoot here. But yeah, my name is Claudia Garcia, and like Danielle said, I just recently joined the Curipod team full-time. And I say full-time because I feel like I have been working with them so much because I've been using the platform tremendously for the past almost 2 years in my classroom. So I was a 6th grade ELA teacher teaching out here in the Valley. So out of the Brownsville area. I am here in the 956 with y'all. So I'm super, super excited to be on this side, helping Danielle and the Curipod team showcase what really has turned the classroom experience upside down. Like my classroom experience has just gone off the roof in the past 2 years since I started using Curipod, and I cannot wait to just give you guys all my insights, any teacher tips that I can share with you. I'll try my best to do that today, and hopefully by sometime around this session, I can figure out this camera thing and why it's not working. But pleasure to be here with you guys.
Yeah, we're so happy that you're here, and I hope you feel happy to be here on a Saturday. And I'll introduce myself. I'm actually a former teacher as well, lived in the Valley. I know I'm not the typical person who might live in the Valley, but I moved down there after teaching in Honduras for 2 years and taught in Port Isabel and also in Brownsville as well. And yeah, and so I taught mostly 4th grade math science, but then got into coaching and loved all my time there and kind of moved back I'm in Marble Falls. If you guys have ever gone, like kind of traveled past San Antonio into the hill country, that's where I'm located now. But I frequently go to the valley and also still have a lot of friends down there as well. I'll be at y'all's campuses next week for the secondary best practices PD as well. So if you guys are there, I'll be there. I also have 2 more sessions after this, so I feel free to check them out. One will be focused on using Curipod to reach ELL and EB students, and the other one is how to use data out of Curipod to inform your next lesson, and how to really hone it in on reteaching and improving students' outcomes in the classroom. So we have a few people joined in here. I put the link in the chat. Please, please, please join in, because that's how you're going to get the most from this session. You don't have to turn your camera on, but if you want to, I highly encourage it, because I like collaboration. We want to make the most out of this hour, and we want to have fun. I want you to feel the fun of Curipod and you know, and get excited about it, but also it makes it really fun when we can interact with each other. All right. So we'll go ahead and get started. I'm going to go ahead and start the lesson. If you've joined in, it's Curi.live. You can join in at any time with the link that I put in the chat. I'll put it in again just so it's at the bottom of these messages. You can click on this link, or you can go to Curi.live and put in the pin code. Notice that everybody, this is anonymous, so you can't see anyone's what they're posting. This is the same for students, right? So your students are joining with a PIN code. We do not roster students. We we strongly believe in privacy and not sharing student data. So all student information is safe. Okay, we're getting an echo. Does anyone else have an echo, or is it just one person? If you're also getting an echo.
I do not hear an echo.
Okay. So this may be one case. Check your sound, or maybe turn down the sound. I'm also talking quite loudly. That's like my nature. So maybe turn your volume down a little bit. I might be talking too loud for your speakers. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and start the lesson. All right, so here, thank you guys for verifying that. We're going to go ahead and start with this activity. How familiar are you with Curipod? So I want you to go ahead and put that in, put your answer in. And I'm just gonna, as you guys are doing this poll, I'm gonna show you guys a couple of controls down here. So when you do your first Curipod lesson, or if you have already done one and you didn't know this, down here at the bottom, this gear is a moderation tool that you can use. You open moderation, it will open up on the left hand, it will open up in a new tab. You can also open this up on a phone or tablet. This allows you to have best classroom management in your classroom, and ensure that your students are responding and that they've logged in correctly. And that will open up in a new tab. So I can see, you know, that Linda's answered, that Christina answered. So not everyone responded to this. That's okay. You might have missed it. But this is a great way to see who is doing what and ensuring best classroom management practices. So that is down here at the gear. So it looks like a few people have not heard of Curipod, and some have heard of it but not used it. So I'm so happy you guys in the session. This is the perfect kickoff session for Curipod, because we're really going to just talk about overall general use of Curipod and how it increases engagement in your classroom. So what is Curipod? Curipod is an AI tool that allows teachers to create lessons utilizing AI. These lessons are driven by teachers, but they are student-centered lessons. And what I mean by that is the teacher is at the head of every lesson, in control of the feedback, in control of the activities and the actual content, but they're utilizing AI to help create that content, help give that feedback, and ensure that every student has the ability to participate. And also it will allow you to have insights into your students, what they know, what they're learning, and have checks for understanding throughout your lessons. So we're utilizing AI in a meaningful way that helps teachers alleviate some of the time they're spending on creating content, but also engaging students in the classroom. All right. What is your favorite back to school memory? Draw your response. We're about to get back to school here. So I want you guys to draw your favorite memory. We are going to vote on your favorite drawing after this. So please, please, please draw something fun. It can be silly. It can be whatever comes to mind. But this is your opportunity to play around with the drawing tool. I want you to see what your teachers, what your students see when they draw. Get that experience. What does it feel like? What does it look like? If you are on a laptop, you'll use your trackpad. If you have a mouse, you can use your mouse. You can drop in pictures. You can change the colors. It's that typical toolbar you see. I see that Claudia put new shoes. I see some happy faces, which is great. Yeah, so just this is a really exploring. We're not judging photos here. It's more so I want you to explore the tool, get the feel of what it's like to use this drawing tool. Students love this. This is a great brain break activity. This is a great check for understanding activity as well. For your students who don't love to write, we want to reach all our different type of learners, right? This gives them opportunity to express themselves in a comfortable way. Again, everything is anonymous. So when this activity ends in 30 seconds, no one will know who drew what. And that's the beauty of Curipod. Everyone feels safe to participate and there's anonymity, but the teacher always can see on their view who is drawing what and ensuring that everything is appropriate before it shows up on the board. If you have questions, you can hop off mute. If you have feedback on the drawing tool, please hop off mute or use the chat. All right. We have 5 drawings to vote on. Not everyone got an opportunity to draw. That's okay. Hopefully you guys will get in on the next activity. So go ahead and vote. Which one's we're going to vote for the most interesting drawing. Most interesting. Put your votes in. We'll see who's on the leaderboard. This is a great opportunity. You guys go ahead and if you want to come off mute, ask questions about what you've seen so far or how it's used in the classroom. I'm happy to hear you guys.
So I'm actually going to come off mute real quick and chime in on what Danielle just did for us through this drawing as you guys continue voting and whatnot. But as a teacher who use Curipod in the classroom tremendously, I can tell you that the moderation tool, I don't know if Danielle mentioned it or not, but she acted on it. So I'm going to go ahead and tell you the moderation tool is one of my top favorite features in Curipod. Why? Because as a teacher, I'm sorry, like I am a control freak and I want to know exactly what my kiddos are doing. Not necessarily because I'm always trying to catch my kids doing bad things, but it allows me also to highlight those really solid activities that my students are doing. Why? Because it's just going to continue motivating them along the way. So I know when Danielle chimed in and said, hey, I like Claudia's drawing. She's drawing some new shoes. If I'm the student in the classroom, like just going at it, doing my work, hearing that from my teacher is just gonna motivate me to just even do so much more. I know this is where like my students would, I don't know, fluff up their feathers and just be like, okay, cool, my teacher just highlighted me. So don't think that moderation tool is only meant to catch the kiddos doing bad. They will. They'll do some naughty things on there, and this is why you're in control and you get to, you know, highlight that it's not going to be posted on the big screen, right? Because you get to intervene, but it is an awesome opportunity to highlight those great students who are also working very hard for you. So just throwing it out there.
I love that. Love that. And here we have that we have another way to showcase students' work, right? We can see everyone's work here. We can talk about, have a really good, meaningful conversation. Anyone want to say why they voted on this particular drawing? What was most interesting about it to them? We're definitely, I know it's Saturday, so we'll skip over that. But again, this will lead into some really great conversations. All right, so here we have some, we also have a lot of offline, thank you, Stephanie, you like the drawing. Thanks for putting that in there. Claudia was a good, yeah, she did have some great details on her drawing. I did like it as well. And I love shoes, so that's why I would have voted on that one. So here we also have some offline activities. So you think of it as like your cooperative learning activities. Those are going to be sprinkled into every Curipod lesson. So turn-in talks, four corners, those type of activities where students are off the device and turning and talking to each other. We truly believe at Curipod that learning happens when you have these really meaningful classroom discussions. And sometimes that's with the teacher, sometimes it's with a partner, sometimes it's as a class. So here I'm going to have think, come off mute, and share. I kind of changed the think, pair, share because I did want to do breakout rooms today. So think about your answer, discuss with your partner, and share out. How do you know if your students are engaged? What does it look like? So I'm going to give you 30 seconds to think about it. And if you want to come off mute or put it in the chat, you can put it in the chat. If you don't feel safe coming off mute, that's okay. But I do want someone to put in here, what do you think about how do you know if your students are engaged? What does it look like? What does it sound like? Go ahead and drop that in the chat or come off mute. Active and asking questions. I love that. You know that students are really thinking when they start asking questions, 100%. Students take ownership of the lesson and collaborate with one another. Oh, I love that answer. Yeah, ownership of the lesson, active collaboration. Love it. So this is you'll notice when we create our Curipod lessons here, I think you guys are going to love them because some of these activities that allow them to collaborate will be built into your lessons for you. You won't even have to think about adding them because our curriculum team has been really thoughtful in the activities that are created in every Curipod lesson. If they start talking, having opinions, arguing, I love that. Wait until you get to the feedback portion of Curipod. Students love to argue about the feedback that they're given, and that's when you really know they're engaged. So what does an engaged classroom look like, sound like? We're just going to put some of these ideas that you guys just shared out. I want them to be in 1 word or 2 words. So this is unlimited responses. We're going to generate a word wall at the end of this. I'm going to screenshot this word wall after you guys put in your answers. So put as many answers as you'd like. It's unlimited responses. What does an engaged classroom look and sound like? Pick 1 word that kind of describes what we just talked about. Okay, guys, just type them on in there. We want to get a few words. The more, the better. So. Seven seconds. 2. All right, we're going to go ahead and generate that. And say the response from cancel. Okay, so collaboration, love it, because that was definitely a word that many of you brought up. Asking questions, research, fun. I do agree with the word fun. I think that learning should be fun. All right, so here we've talked about talking is thinking, right? If your students are talking, they're thinking. And I think you guys made that really clear with your responses. So what I want to do is we're going to read this article together. I know that's, you're like, Danielle, why are we reading an article right now? This is talking about technology in the classroom, how it plays a role in education. If we want to skim this really quick, The goal of this activity is we're going to actually write a little SCR together. Inside Curipod, we do have STAR test prep, and then you'll also have activities in your lessons with AI feedback. This one is specifically tied to the TA rubric. So you're going to see a score and you're going to see feedback on your writing in the next activity against this particular passage. What that means for you as a teacher is now you can have your students write and receive immediate instant feedback, and also a score if you're doing a STAR test prep lesson, and allows you to kind of assess where your students are. So I'm going to give you like a couple seconds just to view this, talking about excessive technology, poor posture, health issues. All right. And that's how you would showcase a passage. You can have it on the board, but notice, I want you to notice on your screen that you're logged in, you have a materials button on the left-hand side. If you click materials, you'll see that passage. I'm going to go ahead and start. We're going to find the author's purpose for discussing the drawbacks of technology in education. I'm not going to do the full 3 minutes because I want to spend more time on you actually creating a lesson together or on your own, so you have a lesson to utilize for your first week of school. But I'm going to give you a minute to write. I think this is important because you guys are going to be able to see the feedback and the scoring and how the rubric is built into Curipod that aligns with TEA. So go ahead and write. I see Linda's already writing. Great job, Linda. You can write just one sentence, but please, please, please write something so you can see the feedback, because the only way you're going to really see the full benefits of Curipod is if you test it yourself before you get into the classroom. And that's what this whole session is really about, is you getting this opportunity to experience Curipod before you try it out in your classroom. Thank you, Christina. You're starting to write. Perfect. I'm going to give you guys one more minute. Stephanie, great job. We have a lot of people joining on the lesson and about 4 or 5 people responding. Please, please, please just write one sentence, and that will get you going, at least to give you some type of feedback. You can even respond as a student. I'm going to call out here that this is one that's in English. You can translate any of your Curipod slides automatically in Curipod utilizing AI to any language. If I had this in Spanish, my students could receive feedback in Spanish as well. I'll cover more of that in, I think, my next session about how we utilize Curipod to reach ELL and EB learners. But I just want to call that out here, that if you wrote in Spanish in this one, because it's English, it's going to give you feedback in English. But if you had this in Spanish, you could get feedback in Spanish for the students who still need that assistance. All right, I'm going to go ahead and end activity. I know some of you were still writing. That's okay. Thank you, Lorenzo, just saying not sure. That's a really authentic student response, right? Because that's definitely happens with your students. So actually, I'm going to pull this up because I think this happens quite a bit. It says, thank you for sharing your response and welcome to class. He said he just transferred to this class, so we're welcoming him. And let's focus on how we can improve your answer based on the rubric. To address the prompt, think about why the author discusses his drawbacks. Make sure to include specific evidence from the text. I also want to point out, it talks about proper language here. I want to point out here that I do have this grade level set at a middle school. I think this is at like a 7th or 8th grade grade level. That's why this feedback is a little bit more lengthy. For the younger kids, the feedback is going to be more age appropriate. Let's click on this one. Hi, I appreciate your effort and attention to answer. It's great to see you started to think about the author's purpose. Let's work on enhancing your response using the rubric. So here it's going to give you a little bit more specific ways that you can help. aim for complete sentences, avoid informal languages like IDK. So just really giving them some very specific feedback. Now, I want you to visualize feedback in your classroom. Are you able to do this in 1 minute? No, right? It's impossible to give every student in your class feedback in 1 minute. That's where the magic of AI really comes into place to helping teachers extend themselves to where they couldn't, what they couldn't do before. It lessens your workload, but it also, the goal here is to enhance students' growth in the classroom. So now every student has had feedback, and then we're going to be asked to reflect on that feedback. So now, yes, gave them feedback, awesome. But did they really understand the feedback? So here is where you're going to check to ensure that they understood the feedback. And this is built into every Curipod lesson that has AI feedback, including STAR test prep, including TELPAS test prep, and including RACE test prep as well. So if you're using any of those types of assessments throughout your year, utilize Curipod. You can get instant feedback and scores to those rubrics in your classrooms. All right, I'm just going to end this poll. Just the goal is for you guys to see this. And then you're going to have an opportunity. Awesome. So I can see here, use reread something else. Awesome. And then you would have an opportunity to rewrite and edit this. So students would be able to copy their answers from the previous writing, paste it, and edit it. So they don't have to restart. This is huge. I was a coach, so my analogy here is if I'm coaching basketball and I'm watching someone shoot, I'm not going to give them feedback and turn my back on them and not watch them put it into action. I'm also not going to wait 2 or 3 days to give them feedback on their jump shot. I'm going to correct. I'm going to talk them through it, maybe even show them. And then I'm going to watch them do it to make sure they understood the feedback and can put it into action. Curipod allows you to do that simply in one class period, whereas if you're doing things by hand or on your own, that can be very, very difficult to do. Claudia, I don't know if you want to hop off mute and kind of share your results of doing this in your classroom.
Yes, I was just actually like, oh my
Yeah.
God, I need to jump off mute.
Yeah.
So this is aside from the moderation tool, I want to just tell you this is such a highlight for all students, right? Receiving that instant feedback is really powerful. I think in my teaching years, as caffeinated as I was and trying to just like sprint all around the classroom, doing my best teacher practices. Yes, you're doing this right. Yes, yes, yes. I would not be able to give that solid academic feedback. I could just tell them, yeah, you completed it, or yeah, good job, or keep trying. Keep trying what? Was what I always left my students wondering, right? Keep trying what, ma'am? What do you mean? So I'm really, really happy with the results that I've been able to achieve using Curipod for that reason. I think getting every students to walk away with solid feedback, next steps in real time is just so powerful. And I know we didn't do that second retry, but in the classroom, I can tell you that was my non-negotiable. So even as, you might think like the writing process, if you're an English teacher, the writing process, right? How do we even get them to draft? The kids will write because they want to know how well or how bad they're doing. And they really internalize that feedback. So when you do get to that second retry, trust me, it's not going to be like a drag because they already know, okay, cool. I know that I did this right. Let me continue capitalizing on this. Let me continue improving on this. Or, okay, fine. This time I put IDK because I really don't know. And I still got feedback. Okay, I guess this time I can actually try to complete an answer, right? So it was so awesome to see that happening, like closing gaps. I know we talk about it and it's probably a terminology. I don't even mind if you roll your eyes when I say closing gaps, because I know we all feel some type of way for that. But truly what I saw in the classroom was that, like closing gaps within that same lesson. It was just something awesome to see. So just dropping, my thoughts in there for you.
Yeah. Thanks, Claudia. I think it's always great to have that classroom experience too, where you can share exactly what you saw in the classroom. I've seen a few different classrooms utilizing Curipod when they're doing test prep, and it's quite awesome to see students like grow from a 1 to a 2 in one class period, or go from a 0 to a 1 on their SCRs in one class. They get so excited. So, okay, so I put the link in the chat, but we're actually going to go to curipod.com. If you don't have an account, sign up for free. Just use your school email address. Make sure you select your campus. You should have a free account. If you are having trouble logging in, please put that in the chat. We can troubleshoot it for you, or try, or what I'll do is I'll look into it on Monday and get back to you if it's something that I can't solve right now. But I want everyone to go to curipod.com, create an account. I'm going to create a lesson and walk you through it, but I want you to actually create your own lesson, because yeah, it's cool to watch me create one, but what's the point if you don't get an opportunity to have one that's useful for you? The whole goal of this session is for you to walk away with something that's useful, and you didn't spend an hour with me not having something to show for it. I'm really a firm believer in spending time wisely, and also as a teacher, you have a million things to do. Hopefully we can take off a little bit off your plate by getting you to have at least one lesson prepped for your first week or second week of school. All right, drop in the chat. Please let me know if you're logged in the chat, or if you want to come off mute. I'll keep encouraging that, even though I don't think anyone will. Or if you and so we just experienced the student version, so we're going to show you over. Thank you, Claudia. We're going to show you the teacher side. So when you log in, let me know you're logged in, or if you want to chat that you're having trouble, Claudia can also troubleshoot with you too. You should see this page. Yours won't look like mine because I have a ton of stuff in here, but I just want to point out a couple things. We're going to start with generate a lesson here. If you've used Curipod in like a few months ago or even a year ago, Curipod's quite different. So I think you're going to be blown away by what you see. You can also do new from blank. I like to point this out because sometimes you just need a quick little activity to use. And Claudia, I just want to double check. You can see the designer page, correct? I'm showing that. Okay.
Yes.
So here, if you do start from blank, this is a great way just to do a quick exit ticket or like a little game really quick. So you can create a would you rather game for fourth graders around. I'm going to put football. Okay, it's about to be college football. I should have probably put college football, but it will create something for you. So all I'm using is this Ask Curipod AI at the bottom. So this is some people who are veteran users of Curipod might remember that we had some activities already built in for you. So this is a way for you to kind of customize, and we're not assuming what you want. You can create what you want here just by chatting with Curipod AI. So would you rather football edition? I'll show you two choices. Those are the rules. And now we're going to do a poll. Would you rather play quarterback or wide receiver? Would you rather score a game-winning touchdown or make a game-saving tackle? Would you rather watch the game from the 50-yard line or the team's sideline bench? So I love to show this because sometimes you just need a really quick activity to end the day or to start the day. You could make this related to the novel you're reading. Which two characters would you rather be? Or, you can create a little brain break really quick as well. So that's just an idea here. You can change it into polls. If you want to do a poll, lots of different ways you can do that. All right. I'm going to go home.
What, Danielle? I'm just going to chime in super quick. Although that was a super, super short lesson, it just gave me like an idea of how to use it like on the first day of school. I know we're trying our best to meet our students and, try to learn their names and their personalities as fast as we can. I would think like this would be a really great opportunity to say like, okay, would you rather stay home and sleep or meet your new friends at school or whatever? And those are super simple ways to get to know your students like on a real like easy personal level because their personalities shine, right? Some will be like, oh, this is so boring, I would rather just be home. But even that allows you to build those connections with your students, like right from the get-go on the first day of school. And it'll just be funny things to talk about later on and be like, so you remember when you still wanted to just be at home asleep? Look at you now with all these friends or whatever. I mean, I'm just talking in teacher language, right? But
Yeah.
just something that you can definitely use as a quick
Yeah.
opener for back to
Yeah.
school.
I love that. And it's great to work with like current curriculum too, right? So if you just need to plug in something that an activity that you might have in your curriculum, but you want to digitize it, throw it into Curipod, do it that way. You'll also notice here, I'm going to go back really quick, generate lesson. This is where most of our lesson content is. So you're able to utilize your current materials. So if you want to spend right now doing this, you can do it this way. I'm going to show you a few different options here as I give you a few minutes to work. You can upload a presentation here as a PDF, PowerPoint, Google slide. You can align it to grade level. You can ask it to, make sure you include XYZ and align it to a TEK. I want to just really highlight this because this is a way to take your current materials. It doesn't change the materials. What it's going to do is add in those interactive activities that you just experienced in the first part of the session. So polls, there is going to be drawing activities, AI feedback activities sprinkled throughout your lesson. We're a firm believer that students should never be sitting and getting the entire class. There is an opportunity for you to share, but your students should be interacting throughout the lesson, probably no more than like 5 minutes of them sitting there listening before you should have them interacting, checking for understanding, or doing some type of check-in with them. This will do that for you. Also, you have a full lesson here, and then you have our quick writes. These are, if you're an ELA teacher, comment in the messages here, or if you're a social studies science teacher, comment in the chat here. These are awesome. These are cross-curricular writing opportunities that are built. These are immersive writing experiences that are gamified for your students. It will give you what grade level these are appropriate for. These are short ones. I really love these argumentative writings. So if you're just looking for something to like spruce up your class for a minute, like kind of break up what you've been doing, you see that your students are kind of feeling blah. The students get super excited about these. You have sports ones, you have ones about defeating monsters and magic stories based or defend the suspect. So really getting students drawn into the lesson to complete a task or to beat a storyline or even to beat a game. And then we have the STAR test prep. If you want to see a STAR test prep lesson, please join me for the last session of the day. I think I'm like at 12 something. Can't remember off the top of my head. I'll do a STAR lesson with you guys, show you the reports. We have STAR test prep for every subject, every grade level. There we have TELPAS. I'll be doing that in the next session. So if you want to see a TELPAS test prep lesson, I'll be doing that in the next session. And then we also have race as well. But here we're going to be building a full lesson. So as we're winding down, I'm going to do a lesson that's unconventional by design because I kind of want you to see the full scope of Curipod. We have CTE teachers using this. I created a lesson with somebody on how to barbecue. He teaches a barbecue course, and students actually participate in a barbecue challenge cook-off at the end of the semester. So he has to deliver content, and he, struggled because he just wasn't a classroom teacher before. He had never done it. So we just put in something here, and it generated his full lesson for him on tips on smoking meat. You can do ELA. Hey, Martha. Oh, you didn't probably mean to come off the camera. I got super excited. Did you have a question?
No, I just accidentally pushed the button.
That's okay. I was so happy to see a face. So Obviously, I'm keeping an eye on the chat, but if you have a question, you can come off mute if you want. Here you can copy and paste your learning objective. You can put in a TEK. You do whatever you'd like here. So I'm going to do, because I was fourth grade, so I'm going to do fourth grade lesson on classroom expectations. This is something I might teach the first two, I'd probably teach the first day of school, in my opinion. My degree is in early childhood education. We read a book by Harry Wong. I don't know if anyone else has read that book, but he's like the guru of setting up classroom expectations. If you've never read it, I highly recommend it. It is like, will truly change your life for classroom management. So here it's going to ask me a few questions. Do I want to align to a standard? This is where you can put TEKs aligned. What instructional focus? This is going to be an introduction lesson. That's important because if you're reteaching, the flow of the lesson is going to look different, or if you're practicing, than an introduction lesson. Our curriculum team is behind every single lesson that's generated in Curipod. Yes, we're utilizing AI for the content, but our curriculum team is very intentional about the structure of these lessons and designing those. What lens? I'm going to make this, let's see. I'm going to put lens of Far San Juan student. Okay, so we're going to make this very specific. I want you to think about all those times you've taught a lesson, like I've done science for solid liquid gas. We did a Pokemon lesson on that. Imagine being able to bring that content to life and have your students so excited because now all of a sudden something of their interest is in that lesson. Or if you're teaching the water cycle looks quite different in South Texas than it does if you go to the desert, if you go to California, or if you are in North Carolina. So you may want to put that lens in there so it's more relevant to your students. Now, all of a sudden, when your admin comes and gives a class and observes your class, you're now checking all the boxes that they're looking for. Is this relatable to your students? Do you have checks for understanding in your lesson? Do you have an assessment at the end of the lesson where you're making sure that students, you're checking what they're walking away with? Do you have a hook at the beginning of your lesson? What you're going to notice here is that our lessons have a backward design. And if that doesn't mean anything to you, that's okay. What it truly means is we create a lesson starting with the assessment at the end, because the design of the lesson is to scaffold that student to being successful to that assessment at the end of our lesson. That is incredibly important because you know as a teacher that students aren't just going to be successful in an assessment on their own. You need to build their knowledge and skills to be successful. This lesson is designed that way, and that's all due to our curriculum team. It's not AI, it's our curriculum team that really has their hands on every piece of this lesson and ensuring that those best pedagogical practices are in place with every lesson that's created in Curipod. I can't say that enough because there's a lot of times that as a teacher, you just don't have the resources or the time to think about a hook for your lesson every single time, or you don't have a time to think about diversifying your checks for understanding throughout your lesson. That's an incredible amount of time. We're hoping to take that off of you, but also make sure that those best pedagogical practices are happening. So you'll notice on the left-hand side, when we've created a lesson, it's going to talk you through each of these slides. Why does this slide exist? You can see we have a learning objective. I can explain our classroom rules, tell how following them shows Far San Juan respect, kindness, safety. I might edit that. So if that seems a little silly to you, you can edit it. This is a PowerPoint. You are in the driver's seat. Teachers are always at the drivers of their lesson, so that's important. And so here we have our hook. During math, your friend starts chatting loudly while the teacher gives directions. Others giggle and join in. You remember our rule about listening the first time. And so what would they do? quietly remind everyone or keep talking with them. So a fun little poll. You could see how your students would start giggling, laughing about this question. Great way to bring them in and also take some ownership. I think someone mentioned ownership into the lesson here. And so here we have some core values. If you wanted to put your core values here, you could edit this. Then we have a term, we're going to draw it, respect, kindness. Are they understanding these? Great way to make sure that they understand. And then we have a poll, which rule keeps class discussion orderly? So again, just making sure they understand. So this is a fun way to do this. I want to point out that on the left-hand side, the chat is still there for you to edit your activity. So I hope you guys are right now creating your lessons and playing around. But if you want to add something, let's translate this slide to Spanish. I'm going to go more in detail in the next session about that. But just want to show you that capability. You can edit anything on here. Say you don't love the color orange. We're really big about orange at Curipod, but that's not my favorite color. I can change the slides. What's Far San Juan's colors? Does anyone want to put that in the chat for me? Is it blue? I want to say blue, but I was a Tarpon, so we were blue. So maybe I'm just remembering any correctly. What are y'all school's colors? Anyone want to join in? Maybe I'm going to assume blue then. To blue. And we can change it to blue. So just want to show you that. Here we changed it to Spanish. And so now you have alternating Spanish English here to help every student in your classroom. Black, gray, and white. I wasn't close. Okay, I tried. So these are going to be translated to blue. So we just changed it to blue. So again, really easy way to edit your materials, make it your own. You can also manual edit over here. But I just want to point out we have some cooperative learning activities here. And we have some of our, what a schedule might look like, drawing. And so throughout, you're going to notice that we're going to have different types of activities, always checking for understanding and engaging our students. And let's go viral challenge. Okay, so in the chat, let me know. Have you guys created a lesson? What are you seeing? I'm going to jump back over here. If you can open up your tab, you don't have to close out of what you're working on, but open up the tab where you were participating. Everyone's still logged in. I want you to think about, like, how does this lesson feel different? Where will this lesson get to actively engage, write, draw? How might that lesson connect to our standards, your curriculum goals? So I want you to think about those things. If you've created a lesson, here's about purifying, preparing for testing. We have reports. And so I kind of want to hear, before I generate a report, because we have about 15 minutes, I want to hear what questions you have about Curipod. So if you can drop those in. I'm going to give 2 minutes actually, so you can actually have a little bit of time to put in questions. But I hope that you got an opportunity to create the lesson. If you got stuck, please write that in your questions. I'm always happy to reach back out to you on your own. My email address is at the bottom of this slide right here. So I want you, if you want to email me, you can. I will always give out my phone number as well. I'll be on y'all's secondary campuses next week. Yep. And we're back on, thanks, Claudia. We're back on the student version. So I'm back on the presentation part. I see that Linda already put something in. Great. No questions. Drop those in if you have any questions or if you have feedback. What did you think about the session? Did you get something out of this session? I really hope you did, because I definitely did not want to waste 1 hour of your Saturday. So the goal here was really for you to walk away with something that you feel like, hey, I can utilize this. This is something that's helpful for me in my classroom in the next couple weeks. Don't be shy, and I will not call you out unless you ask me to answer you specifically. But if you have any Even if it's negative feedback, that's okay. We want to hear it because we're always trying to improve. You can also come off mute, or if anyone wants to share their lesson, you can share lessons by grabbing the link and sharing them. All right, I'm going to keep letting that go. So I want to show this too. When you come out of your lesson, if you don't see it right away, this is very interesting. Hope to use this almost immediately. Thank you for sharing that, Lorenzo. Here, if you didn't see your lesson right away, just refresh. Everything is automatically saved. I have had that question before. So it will show up always. This triple dot button will allow you to share, see the reports, download PDF. So you can do a whole bunch of stuff here, move it to a folder. So if I wanted to share this with you guys, I'm going to drop the link here in the chat. And now this is your lesson. So you can take that, do what you want with it, have fun with it. But if you want to share your lesson here in the chat, we'd love to see it. If you think someone else might benefit from it, you share it here. It opens up in their account. And then they will be able to edit and make it their own. So I'm gonna end this. We're not going to vote on questions here, but we're going to end this voting. And then I want to show you reports because we've ended the lesson. If you want PD, if you want training materials, go to this link. All of our videos and training materials are there. It's self-serve. If you want to meet with me, you can always reach out. How do you upload a Google slide? Great question. Thanks for asking that. When you go to generate a slide, Lorenzo, you go here. I'm going to put that generate lesson and then use my materials. Click presentation PDF, select presentation, and you can go Google Drive and you can grab it from your Google Drive. Or if you've downloaded the Google Slides to your desktop, you can just upload. So one of those two buttons. If that is that helpful?
Yeah, I'm trying to do it right now.
Okay, if you get stuck, let me know. And then if you ever need any additional help, this training page is great too. But you can always email me as well. I'm always happy to help.
And real quick, I'm glad that Lorenzo came off mute and just dropped that question. So what he's asking is, if you, let's say you already have an awesome presentation that you want to recycle from last year, maybe maybe you have to follow a certain curriculum in your district. I know for us, we had to be real big on HMH, Savas My Perspectives, Amplify, and all that stuff. So if you have any of those presentations because you have to abide by your district curriculum, not a problem. You can totally take any presentation that lives already in your Google Drive and then just upload it. It can either be snippets or it could be the entire presentation. And what Curipod will do is it will throw in that, it will keep all the content that you already have. So there's nothing that's going to be changed on that. What it's actually going to do is what we call Curify, right? So it's going to implement all those interactive elements like the voting, like the word clouds, like the AI feedback that you want to have, you know, to maximize your own time. So that's what it'll do. So great that you brought that up, Lorenzo. If anyone has questions on that, I am happy if you throw them in the chat. I'll help you with that.
Yeah, let us know. And I want to point out here, these are your reports. So at the end of every lesson, you're going to get a report. This is huge. I mean, and Claudia, I'll have you come off mute in a second to share how you use these reports in your classroom. This will show the whole classroom summary, most common understandings, most common misconceptions. Imagine you trying to write a report like this at the end of every lesson. That's nearly impossible. No one has time for that. What this is utilizing is AI to read through every class response. It's going to take those responses and the rubric and align it to this learning objective and see how they performed. It's going to identify the top 5 students who need extra support. Great for ensuring that you may have small groups, or if you have a resource teacher, hey, Christina needs a little extra support. I'm going to generate insights for her. Now I can use this report to give to the resource teacher to provide some extra assistance to her in this area. That's usually impossible to do at such a detailed level so quickly. We really want to take this workload off of your hands and help you be as intentional as possible. Your superpower is working with your students. We want you to have that information to use that superpower, and also be able to share this with parents, or like I said, admin, if you're concerned about a student or you want to praise a student. Oh my gosh, look at where they're going. I see that she did this here. Remember last month when we did a similar lesson where she was, and now she's here. This is the same for SCRs, ECRs, and STAR test prep lessons. You'll get this information and how they perform as well. Claudia, do you want to share how you might have used your reports?
Yeah, I mean, you nailed it, pretty much everything that you said, but I would definitely use these as like for conference periods, whether it's with my students, like on a one-on-one. I would have students who would fight for every single last point that I wouldn't give them. And I would pull up, the reports, but okay, well, let's go through the lesson. Remember that you missed, the first 3 activities. Where were you? What happened? Oh, well, I came in late. I had a dentist appointment. Okay, well, then it's a quick fix. Go ahead and do this for me. Even if you have to write it down on paper, turn it into me by the end of the week or whatnot. And yeah, I'll give you full credit. So no opt out, right? So nobody gets an easy point. If I was having a conversation with a parent, very difficult conversation about, well, my kid says you're failing him. Why is that happening? Oh, yeah, not a problem. Let's go ahead and look through your son or daughter's report, and let me show you in real time what they like, all the amazing things that they've been doing, and the areas of most need. So at the end of the day, the main task was to write, and your son or daughter really struggled with that. So whatever. And if you wanted to take it even a step further, I don't know if you noticed, earlier I dropped it into the chat. This smells to me like teachers are going to be leveling up on their T-test. And I say that because I lived through that. So after every single lesson that I would finish, I would go ahead and get a report and shoot it out to my principal. If, not all the time, right? But if it was a really great lesson, this was like my bragging rights, like, oh my God, you have to see what my kids did. And it was fantastic. Other times, especially when we were hitting those 6 weeks, at the end of the 6 weeks, where we have to update your evidence on whatever means you're using for your T-test, I would upload my report, and that was, where I would provide my evidence of 100% engagement, student engagement, closing gaps, teacher responding to the students, teacher planning for anticipations, and all of the things that live in, our teacher rubric. I would definitely pull it out just straight from the end of the reports. So it's super powerful. I mean, there's so many ways that you all can use this, but those are just my teacher tips for you.
Perfect. Thank you, Claudia, for sharing. It's so insightful. So we're curious to hear if you guys have any questions, you want to drop them in the chat. Also, I put this QR code up. If you want to learn more, book a meeting with us, we can help plan out your lesson too, one-on-one with one of our team members to help you guys get started. If you're looking to share Curipod with others at your campus, we actually have a Curie Lunch program where we'll help you build a little PD session. You can invite your colleagues, and we'll give you a $30 gift card to provide snacks to your colleagues. So we want you guys to share it if you love it. If you think that this is something that would be impactful, please, please, please share it. But also, I hope you guys got something out of this session. We're a little early, which is kind of fun. That usually doesn't happen. I must have talked too fast, I'm assuming. But please, I'm going to give the last 5 minutes for you guys to, whether you want to hop off and you're done, or if you want to ask questions, I will hang out here. Claudia will hang out here. We can't wait for you guys to get started and trying out Curipod with your students. So we'll hang out for questions. Or if you want to share your lesson, I'd love to see it. I'm always curious about what everyone's teaching the first couple of weeks.
Oh, I asked about that Google slide earlier.
Yeah.
Well, it's because I'm presenting later today, and I'm like, I wonder if I drop my presentation in there later on today,
Yeah.
and it looks pretty interesting. I'm just scared to try and use that
Oh, no, don't
for
be
this.
scared.
I know
So
it's with other teachers, so I think they might be mindful to let me not do as well. Be like, oh, he's trying what he saw this morning, like right now.
that honestly, I feel like everyone would be blown away that you did that. You're gonna, I think I'm curious, how are you going to try to get engagement from the teachers when you present today? What was your method that you were going to use before you were going to try Curipod?
I'm not even sure. Like I said, it's the first time I do this, so uh, we're gonna see if they want to share their screen because my lesson's kind of applying using the iPad and mirroring, uh, quick feedback, getting pictures, and
Mm-hmm.
uh, uploading documents immediately to like good notes, and the way you can
Yeah.
easily highlight the pluses you see and the minuses. But this
Yeah.
this is kind of interesting though, right here. Like
Yeah, it probably will ask for like some checks for understanding, I'm assuming, throughout your lesson.
that's what I'm looking at right now. So it's like, which good note feature lets you spotlight ideas on an imported PDF while keeping the original text, and it gives you the four options, like a poll, I guess.
Yeah.
It seems really nice because obviously I'm nervous for my
Yeah.
presentation. So
I would honestly, Linda, I totally understand what you're saying, because especially it's first day, but go for it. What I did is I shared this whole window. So you could do something similar to what we did where you're doing a Curipod lesson, but you could open up another tab. So if you want them to do something practical, kind of how I had you guys create a lesson and we just jumped into a different tab. If you wanted them to do something that aligned with your lesson, like a little project, you can do something inside Curipod and outside Curipod. So it doesn't have to be fully in Curipod if you kind of imagine them doing some like a little assignment too there. Is that helpful?
yeah, kind of. I just don't know like if they're gonna have iPads themselves or if they're gonna be trying to do this. Uh, I'm still like in but your presentation was awesome. I really liked it. This Curry pod is really interesting. I do like how it asks the questions and it has the polls built in.
Yeah.
Uh, and then it finishes. It looks interesting. Like it looks like it could work today. Like just to kind of show them through this and then show them. Maybe I should find some student work laying around, but like show them how easy
Yeah.
it is to upload pictures. Just how convenient it is using an iPad. Because I use an iPad in class and.
Lorenzo, let me ask you real quick. The presentation that you're about to show using Curipod, is this for content related to something that your teachers are going to be teaching like next week, or is this to introduce Curipod as another tool?
No, this is I'm presenting on. Hold on, I have a lot of screens in front of me at the moment. Uh,
Let me just share, like, so while you're finding your materials, my principal last year, he used Curipod at the beginning of the school year to introduce like our back to school PD. I convinced him, like, please, you ought to do this. Like, the best way for teachers to know like what we can do with it is by you leading by example, right? So you right now jumping in and taking like that lead as a presenter for whatever it is, whether it's content, whether it's an instructional tool, or just you breaking down down something that your audience needs to see, you can literally throw it on Curipod, and you will have those opportunities for icebreakers without you having to go and look for an icebreaker. You will have that data collection without you having to be a pro at data collection. You can have that 100% engagement. Here's my little trick on how to do that. Like with my students, if I had 34 students in a classroom, I wouldn't hit start on my lesson until I knew there was 34 virtual bodies logged in. So I'm like, if there's 34 warm bodies in the room, then I should be able to have 34 virtual bodies in there as well. So that immediately puts in that 100% participation. And then with the moderation tool, you can also just kind of highlight the way that Danielle did it so well, like during the drawings or the feedback, while the participants were writing. You can also open that moderation tool and say, oh, wow, I really like the way that blah, blah, blah is working on this, or hey, that's a really solid response. And then you can have like your participants, like we had here, we'd be like, well, how did you do that? And you don't have to go into full detail. That's once you're more familiar with it. But those are just my big like takes or my advice for you. If you're about to like jump on a session and use Curipod, those would be like the main things that I would do. Like, okay, well, I'm gonna wait here until everybody's logged in for the most part, and then hit go and highlight the amazing things that they're doing. But don't be afraid. Do not be afraid. And if you get stuck, you have both Danielle and my email. Shoot us an email quickly and like, hey, I'm stuck.
Yeah, well, it's more about how to deliver content. It's not like content specific.
Yeah. No, I think I know using a new tool is a little bit nerve-wracking when you're first presenting something.
Yeah, there's my face. Yes.
Yeah. Hey, what grade level do you teach?
Seniors, mostly 12th graders,
Okay. So this is great.
and let me see there.
So that looks great. That looks good.
So it's more
Mhm.
about it's more about it's not about it's not lesson specific. It's more
How to launch
what's
it.
required to screencast, because at
Yeah.
the same time as I showing you this, it's also casting to the board. You see that
Oh, okay. So some tech
as we
stuff.
speak. Yeah,
So,
so everything
oh,
right now
that's
is casting
me.
to board.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, there's
Great. I love that I'm on a screen. Uh,
yeah, so
so you'll just press when you're ready to go. And look, I'm not a techie person, so you're gonna have to play around with it a little bit. So you're in this screen, Lorenzo. You can click on the top right, start
start
now,
start
and
now.
that will launch your lesson. Then
Mhm.
all people have to do is put in their PIN code when you start, and they'll put in this PIN code. You can also grab the link here. So if you press this up here, it will grab the link and you can put it in a chat. They're joining virtually, correct? Or are they going to be in your room?
Yeah, just the way you're doing it. I'm doing
Okay.
I'm in session 3. There you go. I
Okay.
looked it up right now. I'm
So
session 3, iPad mirror basics.
So
And
all they
I'm
have to
like, hey,
do
if
is,
he
yeah, they just
it,
have to open their iPad. If they have an iPad or if they have a computer, they can open something else. Okay. And they can go to Curie.live or use the pin and put in the pin, or you can just, like I said, click this right here. It will copy the link and you just drop it in the chat. They can click on that and it will jump right in. Then don't forget about this moderation tool. It will open in a separate tab. Click open moderation and it will show you everyone who's logged in. So click this, or you can open it on your phone or another tablet if you have it, if you want on a different device, and that will just let you know who's joined in. It will show their names on your side because otherwise you only see the pin. And then once
yeah,
people are joined
sounds
in, you'll just
fun.
press go and you're ready to go.
Yeah. I think I might give it a shot. We'll see. I got till the afternoon. I don't present till
Please,
12:45
if you do it,
to
will you shoot me an email and tell me?
build some confidence after
You
I
can,
do it, or
yeah, send me an email if you do it. We're gonna say, okay, if you do it, Claudia and I, are you gonna be at
Yep.
secondary best practices next week?
Yes, on Wednesday. I'm not presenting or anything.
Oh,
I will
Okay.
be there though.
Me and Claudia will bring you a prize if you
Oh,
use Curipod today.
interesting. Free
Oh, we're
stuff is
5
always
minutes
enticing.
over. Start to run
Okay,
down.
I'll let
Yes,
you guys go. Thank you for the help. But
Lorenzo,
I
get
will
a
email
prize
you
from
immediately.
us.